Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC Fight Night, Maia versus Usman. And without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the main card. In our first fight on the main card, we have in the welterweight division, Vicente Luque versus Chad Laprise. And Chad Laprise, I think this is maybe his second or third fight at welterweight, as he would spend most of his career, maybe like 7, even 10 fights fighting at lightweight, and did pretty well there. Definitely never reached the top 15, top 10, I don't think. But since he's been at welterweight, he hasn't lost since. And I think he has at least 2 wins here in the welterweight. So he's having a good streak, and he's looking good. Probably looking better at welterweight than he did at lightweight. And then we got Vicente Luque, definitely his toughest test in this weight class. And Vicente Luque himself is looking the best he's ever looked as far as in his career in the UFC. And he's been at welterweight his whole time in UFC. Never moved up, never moved down. He's been in that welterweight ever since he came off the Ultimate Fighter. So in this fight, I think Vicente Luque is definitely the more dangerous striker. He has a lot of huge arsenal of strikes, very dangerous, very creative with his strikes, very technical. And Chad Laprise certainly is a very respectable striker. He's always had a very good understanding of striking ever since he came to UFC. Good control of range, good control of distance, good jab, very technical striker, very technical fighter everywhere. Both are respectable fighters. I say Chad Laprise has a grappling advantage as far as if it goes to the ground, and I guess a technical advantage as far as grappling. I don't know about physical, but definitely technically, I feel like he's the better grappler. But as far as striking, I say Vicente Luque has the technical advantage. I would say he has more of an edge in striking than Chad Laprise has on the ground. But it's certainly played in a lot of different ways. I say Chad Laprise has the speed coming up from lightweight. Because that's like a 10-pound, at least a 10-pound increase. I mean, coming up, so he still had that speed advantage because he's used to dealing with people that are smaller and faster and stuff at lightweight and maybe more technical, as some people say. So that could definitely play a factor as far as allowing Vicente Luque to really land his strike, because he would be had to deal with I guess at least a faster one, maybe not that much smaller, but certainly faster, certainly technical. It'll be harder to land those shots and set those combinations up. For Chad Laprise, I don't think his chin has necessarily been the best. So if those combinations land, I don't know how he'll be able to deal with them, or if he'll get finished by them, or what case. But I see definitely this fight being a very mix-up of a lot. So I think Chad Laprise will definitely try to mix in his grappling. Vicente Luque will be trying to defend it. I don't think Vicente Luque will mix in grappling too much, but I see he still would try to mix in maybe 1 or 2 shots, whereas Chad Laprise would probably try to set up a couple of takedowns so he could get his striking off, slow down Vicente Luque's pace, throw off his timing so that he can't really set these combinations up like he usually like to do. But in this fight, I feel like Vicente Luque is just on a hot streak right now. He's pretty much on his way to being one of the scariest people at welterweight, one of the scariest prospects at welterweight right now. And I feel that him keeping that in mind, he's gonna know what Chad Laprise brings. Like, I guess the threat that Chad Laprise brings, he's not gonna undermine it and say, "Oh, he's a lightweight coming up." He's gonna give him all the respect that he should give him. He's gonna find his timing, but it's gonna be a lot of picking and prodding. They gotta try to figure each other out and break each other down. But I feel once Vicente Luque gets his timing down, understands his speed and with his setups, he'll be able to pick Chad Laprise off, find those openings, and like take advantage of them. And I feel that he'll get a second round TKO over Chad Laprise once it's all said and done. So in our first fight, I had Vicente Luque via second round TKO. And then on to our second fight of the main card, we have in the bantamweight division, Diego Rivas versus Guido Cannetti. And Guido Cannetti, first thing off the bat to start about this fight really could be pretty much a prelim, the first fight of the prelims. I was wondering why it's on the main card. Then I noticed that they're in Chile, and Diego Rivas, I think, is the only Chilean fighter on the card. So then I understand why. No disrespect to him, but I think at this point in his career, he's not really at that point where he should be on a main card like that, or any main card right now. He still has to build himself up. And then also on this card, there's a lot of fighters that really could be deserving of main cards, but it's because he's in Chile. So you got to have that representation on the card. But outside of that, let's get back to the actual prediction of this fight. So Diego Rivas versus Guido Cannetti. I'm all stuttering, but yeah. First thing off the bat, Guido Cannetti, I think, is like 38, and Diego Rivas is like 26. I think it is one of these matches where it certainly wasn't a give me so that a Chilean fighter could win, but they certainly did try to put in his advantage. I think Guido Cannetti is a respectable fighter, and so is Diego Rivas, but he's a younger fighter, 26. He's definitely going to be improving significantly with every fight and every training camp. Whereas Guido Cannetti, he's certainly improved, but he won't improve that much. He's getting older. He's already 38, pretty much on his way out the door. And I don't see him getting too much better. Diego Rivas certainly has a lot of explosiveness and athleticism. They're both pretty well-rounded fighters. But Guido Cannetti also seems to have a way he likes to lose. He likes to lose by submission. Diego Rivas has only 1 loss on his career, on his record, at least his pro record. They're both pretty well-rounded enough and pretty much even in most areas. But I feel the youth advantage him being in Chile, and just that youth, what comes with youth. He's getting better. He's getting stronger. He'll be able to push a higher pace. And I see that all that playing and factoring for Diego Rivas. So he's in his hometown. He's younger, and he's gonna be pushing the pace, and he's gonna want it more. Well, at least he's gonna have the ability to take advantage of wanting it more. Whereas Guillermo Canelli just old, and he's gonna want it, but he's not gonna be able to push necessarily as hard as Diego Rivas will be able to, especially when he have all his native fans cheering for him in Chile. So I just feel like Diego Rivas will just take the fight. It'll be kind of back and forth, but once he starts grinding out, once it comes to the grinding part of the fight, Diego Rivas will have that extra energy and will just keep pushing the fight. And I see him getting a third round finish via submission. So in this fight, I have Diego Rivas via third round submission. And then into our next fight on the main card, we have in the women's flyweight division, Veronica Mikado versus Andrea Lee. And she is pretty much coming over as the LFA champion. There was the flyweight, I think something like that, flyweight champion. But she's basically coming over. She's already a champion, and she's coming over, and this is her debut fight versus Veronica Mikado, who actually debuted in the UFC at, was it bantamweight? Now she dropped 2 weight classes all the way down to 115, from 135 to 115. So that's an interesting note. Another interesting note is that Veronica Mikado is like 5'3" versus Andrea Lee, who is 5'7". Both of them have striking backgrounds and are very good strikers. Andrea Lee being a kickboxer, I forget what Mikado did, but she certainly has some very good spinning back kicks, some of the best spinning back kicks in the women's division, any women's division. But I think the height of Andrea Lee, her championship experience, and Mikado really, I think she's been out for at least 2 years. So we don't know what she's been up to, what she's been improving. So I think Andrea Lee being the fresher fighter and who's been fighting, coming off as a champion, that confidence, along with both of them being strikers, but Andrea Lee has the height. So we got 2 good strikers, and one of them has the height advantage on it, and they know how to use it. That certainly could play a huge factor. They both have submission wins and grappling wins, so they're not just pure strikers. So I don't think either of them going to have a huge edge in the grappling aspect. So I think it really comes down to a striking matchup based on who will win this fight. The grappling might edge the decision, but the striking is really what's going to get them to that decision and get them. It's going to be basically the case of for who will win. And I feel that Andrea Lee's height and her use of that height will be the telling point of this fight. I think go decision. I think Andrea Lee will be landing more strikes using that range. Veronica Mikado might land some hard shots here and there, might get in here and there, but she won't be able to do it enough to really be significant enough to win the decision. So I think Andrea Lee is going to be landing more shots, landing more significant strikes. Even though she might get pushed back a couple times, she'll still be the one controlling the fight throughout. So I have Andrea Lee via 3-round decision over Veronica Mikado. So in this fight, Andrea Lee via decision. Then on to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Jared Cannonier versus Dominic Reyes. Another good matchup. Jared Cannonier was a heavyweight. I think he had 1 loss at heavyweight, dropped down to light heavyweight, looked good. I think he only had now he had like 2 losses at light heavyweight. He has it to respectable competition, obviously Glover Teixeira, and then Jan Blachowicz. So like respectable losses. He hasn't lost to nobody that's a can or that he shouldn't have lost to. Well, you really shouldn't lose to anybody. I'm saying, as far as respectable losses, they're about as respectable as you can get at these weight classes. Other than that, he's been looking good. He's been improving. He even rocked Glover Teixeira in their fight. So a very respectable fighter with a lot of power. What I feel is that against Dominic Reyes, I think he's one of the better prospects, very young for the weight class in the sport in general. I think he's still under 30, maybe like 26, 27. Good size. I think he's around 6'4". He has pretty good control of range, and he has power too. So he could cover a lot of distance, understand the range, come in when he needs to, and he could take you out when he comes in. He has a lot of power. And his punches come very straight. He's not like somebody's going to throw hooks and wild shots. He's very technical with his striking, at least. Or he picks his punches very well. Jared Cannonier, I feel he has a lot of power and a lot of he's getting better. But I think he throws too many hooks and stuff. He kind of doesn't control his gas tank as well. And he also will be at a height discrepancy in this fight. So in this fight, the only advantage I really feel he has is probably in the striking advantage. I mean, as far as power advantage, but striking technical wise, I think Dominic Reyes is a technical striker. He has the height, he has the youth, he has the range, he has the control of the range better. And I think that's how the fight's going to go. I think Jared Cannonier will certainly try to have his moments or will have opportunities to make moments. I don't feel he will really be able to capitalize on any of his advantages. He might land a couple strikes. I think he'll land any telling shots. As far as there will be significant, won't be some shots that's going to really change the shape of the fight. but will keep him in the fight. But I feel Dominic Reyes, once he finds his range, find that time, and find that opening, he's going to catch Derek Cannonier and pretty much put his lights out. So I feel like the first round filling out portion, even though some hard shots might land in the first round, I feel like the second round is the round where the fight will be finished, and Dominic Reyes will find that shot, landing on Derek Cannonier, and it'll be a second round TKO for Dominic Reyes. So in this fight, I have Dominic Reyes be a second round TKO. Then into our co-main event, we have in the women's strawweight division, Alexa Grasso versus Tatiana Suarez. And this fight is pretty much, if it was a couple years ago, I mean, not even a couple years ago, but like before Alexa Grasso lost to, don't forget her name, but before she lost to that chick, or before she had any losses, Alexa Grasso was coming to UFC, and they had all these high hopes for her. So she was seen as one of these big prospects. I think Tatiana Suarez, if she's not already a big prospect, she should be, coming off the Ultimate Fighter and winning the Ultimate Fighter in the dominant fashion that she did. So these could really be two big prospects for the women's strawweight division. Very talented. But I think Alexa Grasso, she's pretty much kind of been exposed in a way. Not necessarily, no disrespect to her or saying against her skills, but she has a couple of TKO wins early in her career. Like when you see her against the top level competition, she's really not a power puncher. She's volume. She's aggressive. She got a lot of bravado. She has good cardio, and she can push a high pace. Her grappling needs a little bit of work. Her fight IQ needs a little bit of tweaking. But certainly a solid fighter, still good age, and she's pretty much well-rounded everywhere, and she's a respectable fighter. But Tatiana Suarez coming with that Olympic, well, not Olympic, I think she fought like a wrestler at the world level, maybe Olympic level. I'm not too sure before the knee injury, or maybe she was going to the Olympics, then a knee injury. But I know she certainly has high-level wrestling skills that are world-class. She's very dominant, very strong, pushes a high pace, and pretty much one of the scariest chicks coming up in the women's strawweight division for these future contenders. If she gets better, she could potentially be a champion at this point, with only a little bit of tweaking. That's how good I see Tatiana Suarez is. And I think Alexa Grasso had a bit of trouble with some grapplers in some of her losses, or I think was it 2 of her losses, or not? I think she only has 1 loss, but that split decision, I'm already forgetting this woman's name, but I know she had trouble with a lesser wrestler than Tatiana Suarez, and Tatiana Suarez is probably the strongest person as far as grappling wise in this weight class right now, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be another trouble for her. I think once Tatiana Suarez get a hold of her and start grappling her and taking her down, I think that's pretty much going to be telling the fight. Suarez is going to be the one dictating where the fight goes. She's going to be controlling her on the ground. I don't think she's going to get a finish because Grasso is so durable and tough, but I feel that she would pretty much get thoroughly dominated and be a clear-cut decision over 3 rounds. Suarez getting a takedown, controlling the position when needed to be, taking the fight where it needs to go when it needs to go, never letting Grasso get to do what she wants to do or get comfortable in the fight. So in this fight, I have Tatiana Suarez via 3-round decision. And then on to our main event, we have in the welterweight division, Damian Maia versus Kamaru Usman. I'm just gonna say Usman. Usman pretty much the boogeyman in this weight class. If you've pretty much been keeping up with the welterweight division, and you're not kind of just focused on who's the champion and who's the top 3 and top 4. In my opinion, he's been the boogeyman for about a year now at the welterweight division. He has solid striking, solid wrestling, dangerous wrestling. People act like his striking is that dangerous, but he has knockout power there. He can strike pretty well, even with some of the best strikers in this weight class on the feet. I'm not saying he's the best striker, and that's what I'm saying. He's respectable on the feet. He certainly can hurt those people, and he certainly presents a threat there. He's no slouch. He doesn't look like amateurs. He looks clean on the feet. And on the grappling, he just looks dominant. He's able to shut people down and get 10-7 rounds with his wrestling. And he's laying ground and pound. So very dangerous fighter. And Damian Maia, we already know about Damian Maia. Scary black belt, scary submissions, scary guard passing, all that stuff. He's very dangerous on his feet. And one thing people kind of forget is that he has dropped several people on the feet, rocked several people on the feet, people that went on to be champions, people that were top 5 in weight classes. So Damian Maia is no slouch on the feet either. It might not look the prettiest, but he certainly can hurt you, certainly can drop you, certainly can knock you out. And Kamaru Usman, this is pretty much Kamaru Usman's fight to lose, but if he doesn't respect Damian Maia's striking, he certainly couldn't get knocked out by Damian Maia when these upset type of fights. But if he's respectable and keeps improving and has improved since his last fight, then keeps improving and keeps working and stays focused and gives Damian Maia all the respect, I say this is Kamaru Usman's fight to win in a dominant fashion. We all saw in the Colby Covington fight, even I kind of predicted it prior to the fight. I said it was thinking that Colby Covington's wrestling is good and that Damian Maia won't really be able to take him down, and he's going to fade and the fight go on, and this is going to be Colby Covington's fight. So it's pretty much the same fashion, I think, except maybe even worse for Damian Maia. I think Kamaru Usman not going to really be scared to take him down if need be. On the feet, he's more dangerous there. Kamaru Usman is going to be the one dictating whether the fight goes to the ground or not. Even though Damian Maia might improve on his grappling, might mix in his takedowns better, I think Usman's going to be able to defend him. He's going to be able to counter him. Even if he gets in on the shots, he'll be able to defend them and get back to standing or get back to the cage or turn off these takedowns, hit the wizard, anything he needs to do to really make Damian Maia's grappling ineffective. And if he gets to the ground, he's going to be the one controlling Damian Maia so that he can't do anything on the ground. And I'm pretty sure he's training this. And especially in the stamina-wise, Damian Maia is older, and I feel like even if the fight's kind of back and forth with the grappling, Damian Maia is going to start to fade, especially when you mix in the grappling, the striking, the full MMA game. Damian Maia is going to be able to be fading. And I feel that this fight, if it's not a first-round knockout, which I'm not even going to pick, I feel that Damian Maia is going to start to slow down. Then once he slows down, Usman just going to feel him slowing down, see him visibly tired after pretty much a fight being dictated by Kamaru Usman. And then I feel the third round, that'll be the round when Damian Maia will pretty much just be on autopilot, fading. And Kamaru Usman will see the weakness, the vulnerability in attack, and get the third round finish via TKO. So in our main event, I have Kamaru Usman via third round TKO over Damian Maia. And that concludes my fight predictions for UFC Fight Night, Maia versus Usman. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.